Happy Monday and welcome back to another episode of This Day in History. Today we're going to talk about September 23rd, a date that witnessed events as diverse as the birth of a rock legend and a powerful cry for freedom. Let's take a look. Hi there and welcome to This Day in History for September 23rd. September 23rd is the 266th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 267th in leap years, with 99 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is pillage. Pillage is usually a verb, but can also be a noun. As a verb, pillage means to strip of money or goods by open violence, to acquire by stealing, or to take possession of unlawfully. To plunder or take booty, as in the pirates pillaged the coasts. As a noun, pillage means the act of stripping of money and goods, especially during war, as in the painting may have been ruined in a pillage or massacre. The unlawful taking of property. And an old use of the word pillage as a noun is something taken as booty, as in robbed the country thereabout and brought the pillage home. Best we can tell, the word pillage comes to us through Old French, Latin before that, where it may have originally meant to strip of hair, indicating the concept of taking everything and leaving bare. First known use of the word pillage as a noun is in the late 1300s and as a verb in the 1590s. Pillage. Now, sometimes you hear a word, you understand what it means according to context, but then you get to thinking, but what does it really mean? How did it come to be that word? And that's how it was with today's word pillage. We heard it here a while back when we talked about that time the Visigoths pillaged Rome. It made me wonder where the word pillage came from. So, there you go. And if you have a word you'd like to see in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, in New York City, a group of passionate baseball enthusiasts founded the Knickerbocker Baseball Club. Considered one of the pioneers of organized baseball, the Knickerbockers played a crucial role in shaping the sport we know and love today. The Knickerbockers Baseball Club was founded in New York on September 23, 1845. Baseball had quickly become an extremely popular sport, and just about everybody wanted to play. So, to keep things more manageable, and to keep the numbers of the players and just the management more manageable, membership in the Knickerbockers was by invitation only and required the payment of dues. It was the first baseball team to play under modern rules most closely resembling those of today's baseball. The Knickerbockers were one of the teams playing in what is generally considered to be one of the first officially recorded baseball games, which was played at Elysian Fields in Hoboken, New Jersey, 1846. And the New York Knickerbockers wore the first ever recorded baseball uniforms. Knickerbockers remained an active baseball club for nearly 30 years. Now, you might remember we talked recently about the Mexican Independence Day. It's celebrated on the day that Roman Catholic priest Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla issued the call to arms known as El Grito de Dolores. El Grito de Dolores had taken place in 1810, and a little over 11 years later, the Mexicans achieved independence from Spain. So this item caught my eye when I saw it in the lineup for September 23rd. Puerto Rico was experiencing difficulties similar to the ones the colonial Americans had experienced of having to be ruled by an empire based on the other side of the ocean, with increasing tariffs and taxes, causing them to feel the weight of an economic crisis. Many Puerto Ricans wanted out from under that mess. Spain's hard line of jailing or exiling anyone who called for independence or even just called for certain reforms did not increase their popularity with Puerto Ricans. In 1865, the central government in Madrid agreed to form a board of review to discuss complaints from provincial representatives, with meetings to be held in Madrid. The two main issues that Puerto Rico wanted were abolition of slavery and independence from Spain. As these meetings were held in Spain, decisions heavily favored the wishes of Spain, to the dismay and growing anger of Puerto Ricans. And while not everyone in Puerto Rico necessarily wanted to secede from Spain, they certainly wanted things to be different and better. Frustrated by continuing oppression and lack of political and economic freedom, a rebellion was planned, and an armed rebellion was carried out on September 23, 1868, known as the Grito de Lares. They wrote a series of proclamations like the Los 10 Mandamientos de los Hombres Libres, the 10 Commandments of Free Men, which was based on a civil rights document that had been adopted elsewhere. Now, this was in 1868, and while they weren't entirely successful, they were able to achieve abolition of slavery in 1870. Though the rebellion was ultimately suppressed, it marked a pivotal moment in Puerto Rico's struggle for independence. Freedom from Spain's rule would not occur until after the Spanish-American War, when Puerto Rico was acquired by the United States. 22 songwriters are listed as having birthdays on September 23rd. We've mentioned Ray Charles in episodes for September 23rd in previous years. So today, let's talk about Bruce Springsteen. Born Bruce Frederick Joseph Springsteen on September 23, 1949, in Long Branch, New Jersey, he's an American rock singer, songwriter, and guitarist. In case you've ever wondered, he's nicknamed the Boss because early on he took on the task of collecting the nightly pay for the band's performances and distributing it among the bandmates. He was signed to Columbia Records in 1972, and they were thinking he would record an acoustic album. He brought along the bandmates that I just mentioned, and they would eventually come to be called the E Street Band. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Since 1973, he's released over 300 records, 77 of those being singles, 88 of them being soundtrack albums. Bruce Springsteen's music has captured the hearts of millions with its raw emotion, powerful storytelling, and anthems of hope and resilience. From Born to Run to Dancing in the Dark, his songs have become the soundtrack to countless lives. He's sold over 150 million records worldwide, making him among the best-selling music artists in history. Now we have a playlist of episodes for this day in history, as well as a playlist of single subjects called How About That? And words of the day in a playlist called There's a Word for That, and I'll leave links to those playlists for you. Today's song is Blinded by the Light. I first remember hearing Blinded by the Light by Manfred Mann's Earth Band as a single release from their 1976 album Roaring Silence. That version hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and did well in other countries as well. But it was written by Bruce Springsteen and recorded and released on his 1973 album Greetings from Asbury Park. In fact, they were working on the album Greetings from Asbury Park, and record executive Clive Davis felt the album didn't have a potential single, so Bruce wrote the songs Blinded by the Light and Spirit in the Night as potential singles. Bruce Springsteen has said that he sat down with a rhyming dictionary, at least with Blinded by the Light. The lyrics in the song Blinded by the Light reveals that baseball played a significant part in Bruce's early life, as there are allusions to the Little League team he played for as a boy, the notion that he never took his baseball hat off, as his Aunt Dora is said to have reported, and the term merry-go-round being baseball slang for when a pitcher keeps walking batters. You got to appreciate an artist who loves baseball. Blinded by the Light, written and performed by Bruce Springsteen and covered by Manfred Mann's Earth Band. Links in the description. Alrighty, that wraps up our journey through history for September 23rd. From the battlefield to the baseball diamond, from the fight for freedom to the power of music. The events of the day remind us of the richness and complexity of the human experience. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep that flame of curiosity burning bright. Any boo-boos, baubles, or faux pas will be coming right up in the outtakes. Third time's the charm. Pillage is a noun. Yes, it is. I don't like the way that rolls. The events of the day remind us of the richness. Remind us of the richness. Okay, just read the whole thing over. Okay, good enough. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.